Like that first period out of PJ. That leg is outside now on the shelf. PJ is on his feet, his outside knee is up. Him going up on the body is gonna allow Yianni to regain this whizzer. At this point, Yanni's gotta do something to get some momentum back. It's tough to finish head inside because their weight. Let's talk about the pin mechanics here. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome if it's your first time here. Today I'm gonna be breaking down PJ Duke versus Yianni Diakmahalas, round 3 of Final X. Epic match. I'm really excited to do this. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We got tons of wrestling, fighting content, podcast content, and hopefully I'm going to be doing a bunch more of these breakdowns moving forward. So let's get into it. PJ Duke, 18 years old. Yianni, 26. Yianni Diakomihalis, 4-time NCAA champion, world silver medalist. PJ, high school freak. All right, let's do it. Let's see what we got. Make my face a little smaller. Not necessary. So here we go. Starting off, a couple guys, both hand fighting tough. PJ looking to get to his 2-on-1. Really nice sweep single leg off the 2-on-1 there. I like what he's able to do here. Pulling that collar tie off. Yianni loves to hang on the collar and use that for a lot of his setups. What we see PJ doing is, pulling to his 2-on-1, which we see that out of him a lot. It's one of his best positions. Something that he adjusted going into this third match that I really like was keeping his right leg back when he pulled the 2-on-1 because Yianni was getting to his sweep off it. And in addition to that, he's also using the 2-on-1 to attack. You see a lot of guys get the 2-on-1 just to hold it or go for a push out, but PJ made good adjustments, and he's going to pull this 2-on-1 and take a really low-risk shot, low-risk, high-percentage shot, which is a great, what I call a jab shot, right? So when we think about fighting, your range finder, your punch that you use to feel people out is a jab, right? It's low risk. You're not extending yourself. So I think that it's really important in wrestling. Everybody should have a shot that's theirs that's a jab. You're going to cover some ground, but you're not putting yourself in a position to get reattacked or getting yourself too extended. And so this single leg right here off the 2-on-1 that PJ hits a great example of that. He looks for that single leg. Yianni defends. And they're back up. Yanni's looking to get back to his collar tie. PJ's going thumb block over the top, back to 2-on-1. Yianni collar tie, PJ thumb block, looking to snap and swing to the other side. Another nice jab shot, low risk shot there. Something that PJ is doing here that I think is really effective is before he goes for this 2-on-1, we can see it right here. Before he looks to go 2-on-1, he's coming over the top with his left arm and looking to thumb block. This is a really strong position for a couple reasons. One, while Yianni, most people want to fight for inside tie and get inside tie here. What PJ is doing is effectively making that position, I guess, ineffective because he's coming over the top, keeping his thumb inside and strong. He can do a couple of things here. He can push into Yianni. He can pressure Yianni. If Yianni decides to shoot, decides to drop his hand, decides to do anything, it's not going to work because PJ's thumb is already inside. It's blocking his arm. And so this is just really high-level hand fight, high-level positioning, a really good position to be in if you're PJ. And then he uses that to get to his 2-on-1 as well, mixes in snaps. He's doing a good job keeping Yianni off his head, rolling the collar tie. We have a caution for a ref breaks the action for a warning passive. Something that PJ is doing that's really nice that I like a lot. Anytime Yianni's getting to his collar tie, he's rolling it, he's clearing it, he's keeping him off his head. And right now, we're almost a minute into this match. PJ has all the momentum. He's done a good job setting up a couple jab shots. He's clearing the ties. He's getting good control with the thumb blocks, with the 2-on-1s. And so at this point, Yanni's got to do something to get some momentum back, right? Like PJ, in my mind, has all the momentum here. And so what is Yianni going to do to get this momentum back? Let's see. There it is. He switches to his underhook and then looks to drag the 2-on-1. Really high-level stuff here, high-level adjustment from Yianni. He's losing this hand fight. PJ's snapping him. PJ's controlling everything. So he's got to make an adjustment. What's he going to do? And for him, he gets to this lefty underhook, a good controlling position. He's now inside tie with his opposite arm. I don't love the head position here, right? PJ's buried down in his collarbone, and he's got a decent elbow control. So Yianni's probably not going to be able to do much. He could fake and snap right here. He already went for that drag on PJ's left arm, but it was unsuccessful, and now PJ is keeping his elbow way back, so that's not going to be there. So really here he should be looking to move his feet, fake and snap, and control this strong underhook position. PJ doing a good job of just keeping his weight down, controlling the elbows, and we're going to get a stalemate. Back to the center. 1 minute, 10 seconds into the first period. PJ controlling wrists. Every time Yianni's getting to this, tie up, real quick, every time Yianni's going lefty collar, PJ's clearing it, which is just really great, high-level stuff. It's something that everybody should be doing, wrestle your ties. That's a great example, just clearing the collar tie off. If he doesn't want to be there, he gets out of it. He doesn't hang out because, Yianni's good there. You hang out with Yianni, he's going to get on your legs, and he's a really good finisher. So that's something that I think was probably stressed to him before the matches. Do not hang out in the ties, control the positioning, and, don't let him set you up. So again, Yianni goes back to this lefty underhook. Head position is not great. He can still score here. He can still push here, but PJ's doing a good job of controlling this opposite side wrist. That's something that, is going to make it really difficult for Yianni to score. Now he's back to this thumb block on the inside, and he's also not allowing Yianni to get a deep underhook here. He's just keeping it very shallow, which is just good positioning. Clears the collar tie again. Good fake and looking to get to that righty sweep one more time, but Yianni defends. Controlling wrists. Yianni pulling on that collar. Very nice sweep by PJ right here. Okay, Yianni looks to sit to his butt and go to a little like Kimura / split defense. And PJ comes up to the body here. Typically a really good position for PJ. 1 point for Yianni on the passivity. So, PJ didn't score within 30 seconds, so Yanni's going to be scoring a point for passivity. But really great position right here for PJ with being locked on the body. Something that I will say, interesting defense by Yianni. We don't see this a lot. This like kind of Kimura 2-on-1, more of like an MMA, move. But he's isolating PJ's arm, so he can only use one arm to try to finish, which is going to make it really tough. Something that I don't like that PJ, did here is coming up to the body right here. In this type of scenario, with a guy that's really high level, I prefer staying down on the leg. We're looking here, and in this situation, PJ goes from being low on the leg, single leg. What I would suggest to do is to come all the way behind, start to shelf this leg. See how Yianni's leg is in the middle of PJ's legs right here? So PJ doesn't have a ton of leverage. What he needs to do is get both knees on the inside, start to shelf that leg on the outside, and then he's going to be able to be in a really good position to finish. In addition to this back arm, Yianni lost his whizzer, so right here PJ has a really good opportunity to finish. Him going up on the body is going to allow Yianni to regain this whizzer. I would prefer his hand to be down here low on the hamstring, his shoulder below the butt. This is going to give him pretty much a guaranteed a guaranteed takedown. It also is super close to the passivity time, so, he could have saved himself really. It could have been a 3-point swing here had he stayed low on the leg and finished cleanly rather than come up to the body. I see what PJ comes up to the body a lot, and he scores a lot from there, so it's not a terrible position. But I think given the context of this match, you got to stay low on the leg and take your points where you can get them. If I were PJ, take this inside knee here down, outside leg up, shelf this leg on the outside, keep your shoulder below the butt, this hand below the butt as well, either on the hamstring or on the knee, ideally, and drive through and finish for a clean takedown. But he's going to go up to the waist, so we'll see kind of how this plays out. He's on the waist here, looking to go to his body lock. Yianni using this foot to get a little bit of leverage, trying to keep his whizzer down because PJ's very strong here. He breaks his lock. He's trying to slide back down to the leg. It doesn't work. Right here, he has a good opportunity here, PJ, to score again. What I would suggest, he has his outside knee down, his inside knee is up. What he really needs to be doing is putting this forearm against Yianni's butt. What that's going to do is it's going to weaken this whizzer quite a bit, and then he's going to be able to scoop his right elbow to Yianni's shin. He's going to be able to, use this knee to elevate that leg and try to bring his leg in the air. But, he kind of gets stuck here. He's been scrambling for a little bit, so maybe he's a little tired. But overall, I think, great defense by Yianni being able to defend this position. PJ, a couple fundamental errors that he can clean up and, score these points the next time he gets in that position. 40 seconds left in the period. Yianni up 1-0. Back to the center. PJ with a good fake. Back into the finger fight, head-to-head. Yianni looking to get to his collar tie. I like this snap, continuing to clear the ties, looking to get to a shot. Good baseline defense there by PJ. Thumb block, kind of letting Yianni hang on the collar here. Clears it. 10 seconds left in the period, short time. Probably neither of these guys going to attack at this point. Honestly, first period, a lot of feeling each other out still. I think, PJ took pretty much all the good attacks. Yianni, very defensive, for him. Like that first period out of PJ, it was very, great position, a lot of good attacks, got to the leg pretty cleanly. So I think that for him at this point, he has to have been feeling good with where he's at. And, biggest thing I would say is he's just controlling the ties. He's controlling the hand fight, and everything else comes off of that. Single leg here for Yianni. Pops his head outside. Let's go back over this finish real quick. Good job by PJ staying on his feet, only giving up one here. But let's go back to this finish. So he's going to shoot head inside single off the jump, and then immediately sides his head to the outside, which I like this a lot. We're seeing it more and more with people. It's tough to finish head inside because their weight of your opponent is on your neck, on your head, so you really got to get an angle. Yianni kind of shot straight on here, so because of that, sliding his head outside is going to give him the best chance to finish, and he's a very efficient finisher from this position. So what we see right here, PJ looking to go chest lock, Yianni on the leg, shoulders underneath him, hips underneath him. He releases the lock, and then 2 knees on the ground, comes inside arm deep, which is going to force PJ to release the chest lock, right? If PJ doesn't release the chest lock here, he's going to go onto his head. Yianni's going to finish. So he's going to have to release the chest lock. He posts his hands. And now what I really like here out of Yianni is this back elbow, right? So his elbow right here is going to come around deep. That's going to pretty much secure the position for him. Something that I always focus on head outside high C is getting my back arm deep. If my back arm's not deep, the finish is so much tougher. But once my back arm comes deep, what it does is it puts your whole body, instead of being underneath your opponent, it puts it to the side of him. So now he can't get his weight on you, and you're able to drive through him and finish so much easier, which we see right here. He gets the angle, gets to the side, and now comes up behind him. And he's going to look to try to obviously break PJ's quad pod. But PJ does a good job of staying strong on the quad pod, only giving up 1 point. High-level exchange. We're 15 seconds into the second period. Yianni up 2-0. PJ coming over the top, back on the tie. Good fake. Something that PJ's doing as well that Yianni's not doing is he's adding in fakes. And I think that those fakes are working. It's getting Yianni's reaction because at the beginning of the match, PJ initiated a couple of those jab shots that were, low risk, not overextended, but Yianni now has to respect his shots. That's something that out of Yianni we haven't seen really any fakes, any feints at all. And that's a big area in his game that he could probably improve because he is a very prolific attacker and a very efficient finisher. I think the more fakes, the more feints that he adds in, the better it's going to, set up his offense. PJ controlling wrist, back to that 2-on-1, another attack. Yeah, really, high-level stuff. He's controlling everything right now. The scoreboard says 2-0 Yianni, but in my mind, everything momentum-wise is going towards PJ, right? Like for all the reasons that I said, the control of the hand fight, the jab shots, the feints, the snaps, everything just looks like, it's trending his way, even though the score isn't necessarily reflecting that. Yianni back to his lefty underhook, which I like this to slow PJ down. This is a great position to be in for Yianni to slow things down, but PJ makes an adjustment here. What does he do? He feels this underhook. Yanni's got his weight forward. What happened in that first period, right? We can rewind all the way to it, but I'm just going to go over in our head. That first period, Yianni got to his lefty underhook. He was looking stalemate, right? And PJ hung on and was stalemated was okay with the stalemate as well. This period, we see a much different situation. Yianni's here. He's okay with the stalemate here. We've already made that clear because this is an offensive position for him. He's already, in the first period been okay with giving up the stalemate, giving up that position. PJ, on the other hand, really nice jab step to a snap. Pulls his head underneath him, gets control of Yianni's head, pulls him down here. This positioning from Yianni is really, really poor. We see all this extension right here between his feet. For him to be in good position here, he really needs his hips underneath him. I know he's a flexible guy, he's a funky, scrambly guy, and he's okay with guys on his legs, but at the highest level in the world, we have to have baseline fundamentals. You have to be able to, stay in good position, sprawl, keep your hips underneath you, right? From what I see here, this is almost as extended as you could be. He's almost in a full split here. He's not able to move in any, capacity that means anything. And so, what we're going to see next, PJ's going to take advantage of it, go right to his single. And notice the difference here. Again, I'm gonna go back to our first period of what we saw. PJ's positioning here is much better because he's lower on the leg, his shoulders down lower, and he's going to be able to lift this leg and get it up outside on the shelf. He's staying low on the leg. He gets that leg on the shelf, boom, throws him right to his back. Happens quick, so we're going to go over it again, but notice what PJ does right here. That leg is outside now on the shelf. PJ is on his feet, his outside knee is up, right, which is where he needed to be in the first period. And Yianni, started off getting snapped, not keeping his base and hips underneath him, getting so extended. He has to, try to scramble to recollect himself and get his hips underneath him. PJ takes advantage of that, and now, puts him right on his back right there. And let's talk about the pin mechanics here. So, happens quick. So, he throws him on his back, immediately goes over under here, which I like this position, but it's going to be tough to get the pin. So, for me, whenever I'm looking to get the pin, it's a lot about getting chest to chest and controlling my opponent's head. So right now, PJ's, close to head to head. He's not controlling his opponent's head, but his chest is a little bit to the side of Yianni. He's going to make an adjustment here that I really like. He gets his chest up on his chest and his head on his head, lifts that arm up, and that's all she wrote really at this point. Boom, there's the pin. And backflip. He's obviously hype. Celebrates with his coach KD. I'm sure they, have worked together so much. He's helped him a lot, so good for them. 18-year-old high school kid making a senior world team. This type of stuff does not happen, guys. Good show of respect from Yianni. PJ gets the hand raise. He's our 70-kilo world teamer for Team USA. And another backflip to cap it off. Let's go. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Like I said, subscribe for more wrestling content. And I'm going to be doing more breakdowns like this in the future.